Tucked away at the end of a forgotten road in the village of Blackwood sits an old, deteriorating house. For over 50 years, the property sat completely abandoned. The locals maintained strict silence about the place, enforcing only one absolute rule: never, under any circumstances, open the red door inside. 13-year-old Ethan, newly arrived in town, dismissed the local warnings as cheap ghost stories. Along with his friends Mia and Noah, he decided to trespass into the property right after sunset. When a community buries its history for half a century, it creates an information vacuum. Human curiosity naturally abhors that silence. Hidden facts rarely stay hidden. They become irresistible targets for skepticism. Inside the house, thick dust covered the broken furniture and fading family portraits. Yet at the end of a long hallway, the bright red door stood completely pristine, devoid of a single cobweb. Beside the handle, a jagged warning had been carved deep into the wood. Curiosity overpowering his caution, Ethan reached out. The moment his hand touched the freezing metal handle, their flashlights died. The dead air filled with overlapping whispers calling their names. From the dark void of the now open doorway, a sprawling, featureless shadow stretched outward, unfolding its limbs into the hallway. By breaking the single rule of Blackwood, the children collapsed the vacuum of the unknown. The abstract village folklore instantly solidified into a concrete, physical threat. The kids sprinted through the deteriorating house. Behind them, the massive shadow entity scraped against the ceiling of the narrow hallway, dominating the physical space. Their panicked flight led them straight back to the entryway, but Ethan ripped at the handle of the front door, only to find it completely locked. Their escape route was gone. As frost crept up the walls and whispers closed in, Ethan caught movement in a dusty, antique entryway mirror. The reflection staring back at him was not the towering demon filling the room behind them. Instead, it showed a terrified, pale little girl, desperately pointing her finger back toward the second floor. This reflection shifted the entire paradigm of the haunting. It revealed a cry for help, trapped inside a terrifying, externalized shell. This illustrates a fear manifestation. The core is the trapped girl's spirit, surrounded by dark shapes of unresolved terror. Isolated for decades, this fear shell amplified, taking on a life of its own. It locked the door to trap the kids in its endless panic loop. Running away only feeds that panic loop. To dismantle a fear manifestation, you must stop fleeing the symptoms and confront the core directly. Ethan watched the girl in the mirror point upward and realized their flight was leading them nowhere. He pulled his friends around and charged back up the stairs, straight toward the source of the shadow. Ignoring the whispers and the freezing air, the three kids reached the landing and worked together to violently shove the bright red door entirely open. Inside the dusty room sat a single wooden chair holding a small music box. The spirit of the pale girl appeared beside it and gently opened the lid. As a gentle melody filled the room, the haunting collapsed. The ambient darkness shattered, and the shadow entity screamed before violently dissolving into black smoke. Directly exposing the source of the trauma and introducing a grounding physical anchor, the music box completely starved the monstrous externalization. Without the shadows to hide behind, the fear evaporated. A few weeks later, work crews finally entered the Blackwood property. Hidden deep in the walls, they uncovered local records confirming that a little girl had indeed gone missing inside that exact house decades earlier. The girl's story illustrates how isolation can transform a private fear into something that completely dominates its surrounding environment. When the source is ignored, the shadow only gains more weight. The house remains quiet today, but the villagers still pass down a modern warning. They say that on quiet nights, you might find yourself dreaming of a pristine red door, accompanied by a disembodied whisper calling your name. If you hear it, stay silent. Responding to the whisper invites the fear back in. It is a reminder that unresolved trauma is incredibly patient, always searching the dark for a way to return.